My name is Ryan Long. You're listening to Forester Radio. I am excited to be here with Hannah. Hannah is with 8 Days of Hope.
Hi, how are
That's hard to say.
you?
Hi, Hannah. I wanted to put that together. I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing great,
All
staying
right.
busy.
Well, thanks for being with us today. Can you start out? A lot of our listeners may not have ever heard of 8 Days of Hope. Can you explain a little bit about what your ministry is and what you do?
8 Days of Hope exists to love and serve those in need. It's really simple. We meet people right where they're at, impacted by natural and human disasters, and help them take steps towards their recovery process. So we started in 2005 after Hurricane Katrina, and the goal was to help, a single mom or two fix their home. And what actually happened was 684 volunteers coming together and rebuilding 84 homes in 8 days. And that's only God. And so we were very excited to see that. We thought it was going to be a one-time thing, and now, almost 20 years later, we've helped over 10,000 families rebuild their homes in the face of disaster, and we've also helped build 13 safe houses and one campus across the nation for survivors of human trafficking.
Awesome. Well, we got connected because I heard about what you're doing in Pennsylvania. Can you talk a little bit about what's going on in Pennsylvania and how 8 Days of Hope is responding to that right now?
Yes, a lot of times when you hear about hurricane damage, you're thinking that it's happening right along the coast. In many cases, that's very true, but what we don't often think about is the impact that a hurricane has once it makes landfall and then stays on land. And so Hurricane Debbie hit last week, and it very slowly traveled up across the northeastern states in the United States. And so it sat in Tioga County and Potters County in Pennsylvania, and it dumped rain. And what that did was cause immense, massive, immediate flooding for people who don't have flood insurance, aren't in a flood zone, and were totally unprepared for a storm like this. And so right now they estimate at least 300 homes and counting have been impacted by the rain damage and the storm damage. And so we are bringing groups of volunteers in from now until August 31st who are going to serve with us. They're going to help with debris removal. They're going to help mucking out homes, sorting belongings, drying things out, mold remediation, to help these families who are in no fault of their own, in a state of emergency, and they're really unsure of where to go and what to do and when is help going to come. And so that's what we're doing. We're inviting you to join us as we love and serve those in Pennsylvania who are facing unimaginable circumstances.
Thanks, Hannah. We're going to talk with Hannah a little bit more after this break. We're going to take you to a little bit of music, but we'll be back with Hannah in just a few minutes. So stay tuned to find out more about how you might be able to get involved and help with the disaster going on in Pennsylvania. You're listening to Forester Radio. You're listening to Forester Radio. My name is Ryan, and I am here with Hannah from 8 Days of Hope. We've been talking. 8 Days of Hope is a ministry that helps with disaster relief here in the United States, and we've been talking with Hannah about how they're responding to massive flooding in Pennsylvania right now. So, Hannah, can you just give a little brief recap of what we talked about before the break about what's going on in Pennsylvania, and then maybe how our listeners can get involved?
Yeah, right now in Pennsylvania, over 300 homes have been flooded because of the remnants of Hurricane Debbie. It was unexpected. It was flash flooding, and it came and happened super quickly to an area that's not a flood zone. So they were totally unprepared for damage like this, and many of them don't have the insurance needed to help rebuild their homes. And so what we're doing is we're helping them get on that next step. So we're bringing in hundreds of volunteers from across the country. You don't have to be skilled. We provide food and lodging. It's completely free to serve. All you have to do is say yes to getting there. And we would love to have you. And you're going to do things that you've never done before, but more importantly, you're going to bring hope to these families that we're serving. You're going to be able to muck out their homes and clean debris. You're going to go through their family photo albums with them and their clothing and try to dry them out and save what you can. And you're going to just love on them and listen to them and be there from them in some of their most vulnerable moments. And so if that sounds something like that would be something that's interesting to you, we would love to have you from now until August 31st. You can sign up on our website, 8daysofhope.com. That's 8daysofhope.com. And you're welcome to join us. We would love to see you in Pennsylvania.
Thanks, Hannah. Well, if our listeners, let's say, because the kids are in school or whatever, they can't physically go and help, are there other ways that they can support your ministry?
Yes, we always say there's three ways to get involved. You can pray, and that is the most important thing. Right now, we have leaders traveling from across the country and volunteers as well who are preparing to meet these families. So we ask that you pray for them, that they would have strength necessary to do the work that they're going to do, both physically and spiritually, and that you would pray for the families and the communities that we're going to serve who've been impacted by this storm, that they would just be open and willing to experience healing and hope beyond just material possessions. And then, of course, if you can't volunteer, we would ask that maybe you would consider a donation. Right now, you can sow into the ministry. And the amazing thing that I love most about 8 Days of Hope is that we have national partners. They cover our fixed costs. And so today, if you donate to 8 Days of Hope, you're not donating to my salary or our electric bill. 100%. That's 100% of your proceeds are being passed through to this disaster, to Tioga County in Pennsylvania. And so it's a great way to sow right back into that community and to love them tangibly as we help to meet some of their physical and spiritual needs while we're there over the next 2 weeks.
For sharing that with us, Hannah. Well, we're talking with Hannah from 8 Days of Hope. We're going to talk with you one more time after the break, but next up, we're going to have you back to some music, and then we'll be back to finish up with Hannah here from 8 Days of Hope. You're listening to Forester Radio. You're listening to Forester Radio. My name is Ryan, and I am here talking with Hannah from 8 Days of Hope. 8 Days of Hope is a ministry that helps with disaster relief here in the United States. They mobilize hundreds of volunteers to respond to disasters. And Hannah was telling us about what they're doing in Pennsylvania right now with the massive flooding that occurred from the fallout from Hurricane Debbie. And so you said you're accepting volunteers through August 31st. Is that correct?
Yes, that'll be our last day for the outreach, unless, of course, the need is huge and we decide to extend. If we change anything about our deployment or have any updates, if you follow us at 8 Days of Hope on any of the social media platforms, you'll be able to be notified of if we're extending, if we're pulling out early because the need is no longer there, whatever's going on, how you can pray for us, how many families we've been able to serve so far. That's a great place to get some updated information.
And if people want to help, you said that the number one, they can pray for the
Mhm.
volunteers, pray for the people who are affected by this. And then also they can get involved by volunteering. And if you want information about that, you can go to their website. It's 8daysofhope.com. And then you can also donate. And you said a great thing, which is all of your fixed expenses are covered by national partners. So 100% of any donations that come in for this will go straight through to the families affected by this disaster, which is awesome. That's so exciting. Now, if people want to keep up to date with what 8 Days of Hope is doing in the future, with future disasters, and maybe they want to know how they can pray or how they can donate in the future, do you have a newsletter? How do people keep up with you?
Yes, we would love for you to stay involved. There's two main ways you can do that. You can go to 8daysofhope.com today and subscribe for our email alerts. We don't bother you too often, but anytime that we have a big outreach coming up, a volunteer opportunity, or just some big news within the ministry, that's where we share it. So you can subscribe online at 8daysofhope.com, or you can text the word HOPE, HOPE, to 86373. And what that is about twice a month, we send out an alert and notice about what's going on, how you can get involved, or if there's been a major storm across the country, we send out any deployment plans that we may have. So it's a wonderful way for you to figure out what's going on with the ministry, to hear some praises and some prayer requests, and to stay involved. So either text HOPE to 86373 or subscribe to our email alerts on our website.
All right. Well, Hannah, thank you so much for being here with us today. We really appreciate it. And good luck to you and the team. We will definitely be praying for you as you respond to these needs in Pennsylvania.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Thanks. You're listening to Forester Radio. We'll be back just shortly, but we've got some more great music coming at you right now.